In this episode, we're going to explore consciousness and my experience with consciousness over the last, gosh, little while, let's say. Before we do that, I want to share that I have two ways that you can work with me. These are my two offerings. The first is you can come here. For those of you who are watching on YouTube, this background is real. This is Brazil, near Rio, about an hour and a half from Rio. And this fazenda is real. You can come here for a month of your choosing and have a residential, which is where you will be immersed in daily living, daily eco-conscious living on the fazenda, and really have that experience of presence, of becoming present. We work together as much or as little as you want on the day. You can arrive here for a month or extend. And through my experience, some of my most formidable and transformative experiences have been either on retreat, in the wilderness, or in intentional community. So there's the residential if that's for you. If, however, that's just not practical, there's no way that you could have a month somewhere else, then I have online coaching, and that is equally special, equally transformative. We work together to have you come to presence, really come to presence. And with unconditional love, complete acceptance, total freedom, and all of your life, the whole of your life, as it moves through your projects, your business, your work. So there's that option. Both of those offerings are on my website, so I'll put the link in the show notes. Moving on to consciousness. So where I want to start us is something I was talking with my husband about, my gorgeous husband. And I want you to take a pen and paper. So if you need to, pause the episode and come back. When you have your pen and paper, I want you to draw a straight line across the bottom and then a line perpendicular with the end of one of those lines. So you end up with an axis. And on the base of the axis, you'll write consciousness. And on the side of the axis, you'll write competency. And so that will give you, in the corner, you can put L for low. And then on the consciousness arrow, you can put H for high. On the competency side, you can put L, there'll be the L there for the low already. And then you can put the H for the high. And then in the middle, draw 4 quadrants. So you'll label them and you have them as low consciousness, low competency, which is unconsciously incompetent. And then you'll have low consciousness, high competency, unconsciously competent. Then you'll have consciousness high, competency low, conscious incompetence. And then where both are high, you'll have conscious competency. And so for the people on YouTube who are looking at this, you can see here I've got that mapped out for you. So the axes and the quadrants and the 4 labels in there. We'll speak through them though. So where this starts is unconsciously incompetent. And these are the things that you're doing that you're not great at, and you don't even know that you're not great at them, right? So sometimes we're in that space, sometimes we're there. Then with awareness, you can move into conscious incompetency. So that you Ah, there's a bug flying around my head. One of the joys of recording outside. And now the geese are going. So you can be consciously incompetent, which is where you can improve your skills. Then on the upside, you have unconsciously competent. And this is stuff you're naturally good at, that you don't even know where your competency comes from. And then in the fourth one, there's conscious competency, which is you're aware and you're really good at it. So I wanted to start that place because what that model does is points to the role that awareness plays in developing consciousness. And awareness is really the first step for a lot of this work. Now, when you're working with consciousness, and I'll speak through my process. So at some point we have thoughts and feelings, and we think we are our thoughts. We think when we say, I think blah, 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 or even not even making to speech the dialogue that's in the head of thought. That is one place to be, that we think we are our thoughts. There's also the place that we believe we are our feelings. We believe we are our emotions. So, I am happy. I am angry. I feel angry, or I feel upset. And our emotions are not us either. We are not our emotions either. So we arrive at this place where you realize you're not your thoughts and you're not your emotions, and that there's something witnessing what's going on. There's a consciousness that's witnessing what's happening there. So you can have no attachment to your thoughts or your feelings. You're not those. And then you see them unfold, and you see yourself like a character in a movie going through that. That stage is there for a while. And there's a lot of freedom in that, right? So you are calmer, peaceful, have more insight. Have the ability to go from, instead of stimulus plus thought equals reaction in most cases, have the ability to go from reacting to responding. And it's cool to hang out there for a while. What I've been experiencing is there's beyond that where you realize that there's something witnessing the witnessing is the best way I can describe it. There is something, a power that is greater than all of us. Some call it high power, some call it spirit, some call it God, some call it nature. There's this powerful force, loving force that has life thriving. And things happen differently in the space when you are no longer your feelings, no longer your emotions, no longer your thoughts, and you are no longer witnessing, but instead present to what's here in the now. There are some other things that need to happen, in my experience, to become present. And maybe we'll explore those in a future episode. For now, with consciousness, And so as things unfold, and the suns came out, so it's really in my eyes right now. Hopefully the screen's still okay. Um, is that things start appearing. So being present, our observation of reality increases in awareness. Our observation of reality increases in awareness. And so the thing that I'm with at the moment is this one consciousness that exists within all living things. And, I believe Michael Pollan has written a book, Is It Conscious? A World Appears, it's called, and he asks the question, is it conscious? The plants sleep and they too have consciousness. So, yes. The question that I'm with is because there is only one consciousness and because there is only one time, which is now, is there really subconscious? Because what I have been experiencing is that all consciousness is present in the current moment. So I have that question. If you have any thoughts on that or awareness, please write to me or send me an audio. The other point that I want to make in this episode is this consciousness is more powerful than anything else, which includes AI. Now, I became aware of my relationship of how I was using AI, specifically chatbots, for information. And I became aware of how the AI wants to have a dialogue with you. And frankly, I am only interested in another tool that can support me to grow in awareness. There are many ways that I can do that. AI chats happen to be one of those. I feel heartbroken at some of the media that's coming out. And, I read an article about someone who had a very attached style of conversation with the AI thing they were using to chat to for their information. And, ultimately there was harm involved. I won't go into the full details of it. And also in that, Oprah had an invitation for speaking to the positives and the negatives of AI. That's not the conversation that I hold. Looping back to consciousness, the conversation is that, there is this one consciousness that is powerful beyond words. And that consciousness is my guiding force. That consciousness informs me that, yes, in this eco-conscious living that has come forward, in choosing to live my values, that there are purchasing decisions to make that reflect my values so that I can go more lightly on the planet. And that one consciousness, I know, I know it will have me move in ways that I've never imagined I could before. Really, this is the I am consciousness. That is what's here. That is what I understand whole being. And for those of you who see my Instagrams with what I've been creating and having so much joy creating that, whole being and that I am consciousness beyond thought, beyond feeling is what's there. So yeah, that feels complete for me. I know that this will have sparked curiosity and inquiry in you. You can send me an audio with questions that you have or realizations that you're having. I would welcome that in. Finally, the sun has been covered by a cloud so I can see again. And yes, those two offerings that I am called, so called to give the residential a month of your choosing on this fazenda, which is Portuguese for farm, or online coaching. If that speaks to you, reach out to me for a conversation. Go lightly.